All right, so hello everybody. Welcome to another weekly update from Community Frontline. Today we're talking about small businesses, and we have two of the stars of the neighborhood, star businesses here. And so we'll get started just giving some updates on just what's happening in the marketplace and just how these two individuals here are making it happen in this crazy time. So guys want to introduce yourselves? Mia, we'll start you off. Just names and business, how long you've been in business, what's your industry?
Yeah. Well, I'm Mia Moss, owner of Black Coffee off of Vaughn and Rosedale. I just recently started, went to coffee school in 2017, but my first job out of high school was at a coffee shop. So kind of been into coffee for a while.
Okay. And sir, who are you again?
Me?
Yeah, that'd be
my name is Robert. Well, they said two, and I'm seeing four people up here. So who are the two? My name is my name is Robert Griffin. I'm with LPM, that stands for Liberty Proclaim Ministry. We've been at it for 16 years here in Fort Worth. Our current location is right in the heart of Stop 6, 820 in Barry. We are a janitorial and property maintenance company. We're all over this great North Texas region, and my job is in the finance arena. Originally, I was an engineer by trade. My family told me I was wasting my time working with somebody else. I took them up on a dare and started a janitorial company, and the rest is history.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us on this call. Just want to start off. These some crazy times here. So how's your business model changed? What's going on with your business as of now? Everyone.
Well,
right.
for me, I have a yellow door. It's a barn door on the side of the building, and I initially planned to use it for Texas Wesleyan students to get drinks in between classes faster, and just so happens I needed it for this time, so we started just using the curbside window once we closed the inside, and we've even though we had online ordering before, we really had to start pushing it a lot more. And of course, like online sales, I have a website, so just trying to get people to the online platform to purchase like beans, cups, t-shirts, things like that. And then really just like online, just anything we can do online is what we've been trying to do. So ramping up social media, making sure we still post, because that's how people see you now. Everybody's online doing everything, so we really have to have a presence.
Well, in our case, we're in the cleaning business, and we kind of took for granted cleaning. At this point in time right now, number one, cleaning is definitely essential business, but it's escalated to the point where it's more of a cleaning / disinfecting business. And that is definitely become a area of emphasis, is the disinfecting aspect of things. Customers demand it now. And of course, the issue is keeping up with the supplies. That's probably been the major thing right now. Before we ordered monthly and that was it. Now we've got to, because of the high demand for disinfecting type products, we've got to inventory. And that's probably been the biggest challenge right there, is maintaining an inventory that's going to last. Because before, disinfecting was almost something you did maybe in the course of a 5-day-a-week clean. It wasn't something you did every day. This is now an everyday requirement. And so you are obviously run out of supplies very quickly. But in addition to the cleaning supplies, PPE equipment is also a big demand now. I mean, we always use gloves. That's a standard. But now mask has become an issue, as well as Perel. Hand sanitizer has become a big deal. And again, these are now items that are very hard to get. So when you get some, you buy a lot. And like I said, you inventory.
Yeah. So in both of your cases, you've had to kind of change up or make some kind of adjustments to your business models or whatnot.
Yeah.
Before pandemic, just to give the audience kind of a frame of reference, the part that's taking up most of your business now, how much would you say that it was pre-pandemic?
What, the inventory aspect of it, or the actual cleaning piece of segment of the business? Because
both, yeah.
Okay, all right. The inventory standpoint, again, we were probably buying once a month, and when that depleted, we just restock for the next month. Now I'm having to carry inventory for months, as opposed to having inventory just for what we need, just in time type of inventory. And that's been a new challenge for us, and being able to do that. Number one, being able to allocate space for this inventory is one thing. And then the fact is, you've got money tied up in something you're not going to get anything back from maybe months down the road. The PPE aspect of it, we took those things for granted, and now we're seeing that this is, in this climate, that's just a high priority now, and it's not going away. Let's see, that's the thing about it. This is not going away. This is going to be how things are going to be done in the future, no matter what. This has been a big wake-up call, and so inventory is going to be one thing, and so we'll have to take a look at what that does to our pricing structure, and also the fact that we're going to have equip our people with PPE. PPE, that's again going to be a cost now that we're going to have to pass on as we price out jobs in the future. So that's probably been the biggest thing. And then now knowing that this is probably an area for growth in the company, is in the janitorial cleaning world. We're not even touching the surface. There are other things that. I'm sorry.
Well, what's out? Because I'm gonna get to that question.
Mm-hmm.
Just hold up with me, because I do want to hear from Mia. Because, like I said, you shifted.
I'm not trying to hog the conversation. I'm not trying to hog it. I got
one. And Mia, whenever you want to jump in and cut them off.
Because I'm coming to your place for coffee tomorrow, so be ready, okay?
Yeah, please do. Come on.
All right.
Yes,
just put the finger up whenever you want to cut him off. All right, and I'll get you in there. Okay. All right. All right. So Mia, you've gone to more online and curbside. How much would you say that made up pre-pandemic of your business?
Oh, we didn't use it at all. We hadn't even started using the curbside door or anything. It was just something I was thinking that we would do in the future. But it was not, like the standard or anything we just used. It was just there. So like we completely went from no curbside to having it. And it's interesting because one thing that myself and my investors talked about was possibly having a drive-through. And the problem with that is it kind of takes away from that local feel. So, it was just something that we talked about, weren't really sure about it, but now it's one of those things where now I actually have a drive-through. People are ordering online, and then they're coming up to that door and picking it up. Or, they may order at the door. So now, that is the entire business, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And would you say the same for the online sales? Hello?
She froze.
Okay. We'll come when we get it back. We'll come back. So let's see. You were talking about opportunities for growth with this new landscape that we're in right now. So how are we talking? How are you talking about growth? Using this as an opportunity for growth.
Number one, disinfecting on a daily basis, again, wasn't part of the normal specifications on a janitorial contract. So now that's going to be something that we're going to use as a point of emphasis. That's going to be a selling point now to current customers as well as customers down the road as well too. In addition to that, there are levels of disinfecting. You know, there's one to go there and wipe down hard surfaces and things of that nature. But there's also the electrostatic type of disinfecting when you're going there to completely take care of not only the horizontal surfaces, but all surfaces in the building using specialized equipment to do that. And so that's another door that's open in this world of the pandemic, is that people are wanting to be extra careful in regard to making sure their buildings are safe for not only their employees, but people coming in and out of the building. So whereas something we were doing once or twice a week, now it's now going to become a 5-day-a-week operation, no matter how small or large the building might be.
Okay. Well, Mia, let's say Robert had talked about seeing this pandemic time as an opportunity for growth or whatnot. I know you were saying that curbside was something that wasn't even in the discussion as maybe more of a future thought, but now you're seeing this as a business that's kind of, you know, keeping you afloat in these times. Are there more areas that you're seeing as opportunities for growth that you've taken from this period?
Yeah, I really think I'm going to do some restructuring. Like I said, I do have the website, and so e-commerce is probably going to be like really big. Well, I mean, it is really big already, but I feel like restructuring the website a little bit, updating social media, and just staying on top of it, just always having content. It's probably going to be like the best thing for me to focus on right now to grow. I'm also creating different coffee blends. Like I already have 2 blends that I offer. I have some single origins that I started offering since more people are making coffee at home, and like coffee enthusiasts, they really like their single origins, which means it's just a bean from one country. So we up that, and I'm working on other blends, you know, to just kind of give a variety.
Well, Mia, let me ask you a question. Is there a possibility though that curbside and online ordering may be something that you continue in down the road, but also expand on as well too? I mean, I think in a lot of cases, people have adjusted very well to curbside ordering, and maybe that'd be a more of a part of your business. I know you're saying you were looking at it down the road, but maybe that's something that, you know, hey, it's here now. How can I make this a mainstream activity and continue to make it an attraction for customers? Because I mean, I kind of like it. I kind of like it myself. You know, I call ahead, boom, you guys are, you know, my order is ready for me when I get there. You know, maybe I got to call you to let you know I'm near or whatever, or get in line, whatever the case may be. But it's been a convenience for a person who's on the go trying to make it. I mean, let's face it, there are some competitors that were doing this all the while anyway, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, I think, well, you know, they opened up restaurants, you know, so, you know, if we want, we can have 25% capacity. For me, I'm more comfortable with sticking with kind of pushing people for curbside, just because it's a lot on my staff to constantly have to clean while they're making drinks, while they're taking orders. You know, because it's like every time someone gets up or every time someone goes to the restroom, then we have to go right in after them. So right now, like, that's something I'm still pushing. Like, we have a few things we're doing for teachers over the next couple of days, and we're pushing them to call ahead, order, and pick up curbside. Just because that's just gonna make life easier. And then, like, parents, a lot of parents don't want to bring their kids out. It's just easier for a parent to call and pick up. So yeah, right now I feel like it's going to be, you know, something we do on the regular now. It's just going to be what we do. Even when we open.
Yeah, as a parent, I've definitely taken advantage of the call in, you know.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Absolutely.
you know,
I
and then
can get it.
having a
I can get it
time when I
in my
know it's
sleep.
going to be ready. So,
And I know I can be in my sleepers and get what I want and keep going.
Yep. Just hop in the
My
car and
lounge
go.
clothes. I just say sleepers, lounge clothes.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So,
Mm-hmm.
question, y'all, because a lot of businesses have taken a hit during this time, whether it be having to, you know, send people home, have to let people go, having to, you know, scrap money from other places or whatnot. How are you been recovering from losses that you may have taken in?
I
You know, if it's the, you know, business assist, yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, for me, I immediately just went straight to weekends. So we're open this week. We're Thursday through Sunday, but when all this started, we went to Friday through Sunday. And I have 3 employees, and they just all work 1 day each. So that keeps them on payroll. That keeps them getting some money. And it just kept me from having to fire anybody or let go of anybody. Also, I did a virtual tip jar, is what they call it, and it's on GoFundMe to help with those costs, with the payroll costs. So we did that, and it went well. It's still up, and I use all of that to pay my employees. I don't use it for myself. It goes straight to the baristas. So they work 1 day a week, but they get, at least a week's pay because of that.
Cool. Well, we were fortunate and being able to get the PPP money that came through because one thing is that again this whole situation lets you know that that you are dependent on the people. And you want to make sure you can do everything you can to maintain them. And I appreciate what you're doing, Mia, in that regard, because you don't want folks to go and get on this unemployment because it become hooked on that, and it's really almost a disincentive to want to work because they're paying you almost more than what you would make if you had a regular job. And I think people want to work. They don't want to be uh, at home sitting around doing nothing for the most part. But we were fortunate enough to be able to do that and help in that regard right there. But it also made us take a look at our operations as a whole too, and say where were there some things that we could do better. Maybe there were some things that we might have been a little lax on, and so let's see what we can do to tighten up the ship in that regard. Let's take a look and see if there's some improvements we can make in the way we do business. How we manage things, whether it be the inventory, even for that matter. Going out and seeing if there's any wiggle room with pricing on some of our supplies that we need in that regard right there. So that's been some of the ways that we've been able to, like I said, the PPP was a big plus, being able to have that, and that allowed us to be able to keep going because we did back off people for a while just as a precaution because we didn't want to have people that might have been sick exposing the rest of the folks and having the issues that can occur behind the spread of the virus that way. And so the PPP allowed us to be able to send people home, be on the safe side, and still be able to employ people. But as I said before, also looking at operations to see if there's some things that we can do to improve. Didn't want to reduce anybody, but maybe there were a couple of folks that guess what? We don't need you that. We don't need you every day like we used to, and I hate to say that. But there were some people like
Okay. I mean, so
RJ
I'm gonna come back to you on I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna come back to you on the funding. But Mia, one of the things I'm hearing from you is communal support or community support with the virtual tip jars and things of that nature. What would you attribute to building that community that can support you in times of need? I think that's something that businesses can really take moving forward.
It's really about relationships, building relationships with other business owners. Even before I opened, one thing I did was I built relationships with other coffee shop owners. And they give me a lot of advice still to this day on what I could do. Also, before I opened, I built relationships with Texas Wesleyan, which still helps me out even though they're not in school, they're not in session right now. They still check on me. They send me emails. They send me important information I might not have gotten. And so I think relationships with the community, however you can do that, whether that be you patronizing their businesses, just going and introducing yourself and meeting people and going to events. Before all this happened, that has really helped me. I have a lot of people, they'll still come and they'll buy like a gift card and tell me to pay it forward. I have people send me money to pay it forward. So that's been good because I do get to actually bless people that come through, and then it helps my business. But yeah, it's definitely helped me a lot to build those relationships with the surrounding community, everyone that's around the coffee shop. Even the Boys and Girls Club across the street, they've helped me out a lot.
Good deal. All right. And now, Robert, you spoke on the what the PP say. Give the whole title
PPP,
just for everybody listening.
Payroll Protection Program. It was part of the CARES Act.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And so that's been the topic of discussion in the news. So maybe you can help us help explain to everyone listening out there, how do I get access to this? What are the keys to getting it in the mix, to putting my name on the list, to actually securing funds?
Well, I mean, it's a lot easier if you have a banking relationship with a bank already. I mean, it just streamlines the process. They know you. They have all the information for the most part about your business. Now, you still got to provide the basic information like your income, your tax returns. You've got to be able to also show your payroll that you paid over the last 12 months. So they can take an average of that 12 months, multiply by 2.5, determine what you're eligible to receive in terms of the payroll protection thing. In our case right there, I had a good relationship with the banker, but I unfortunately, in the first wave of the money that was being passed out, I fell through the cracks. But because I had a good relationship with the banker, though, he picked me up and said, "Hey, I'm gonna put you in the front of the line for the new money that came out." So as soon as that money was approved, we were able to get the PP loan as a result. But the primary things you got to have is you got to have proof that you're in business. At least in 2018, 2019, you're in business, that you have a payroll, and that's supported by documents like the 941s, payroll taxes you paid. If you're a sole proprietor, what they need to see then is a Schedule C, or if you're a partnership, a 1065. Those are documents that you need to be able to put to show them. If you're a sole proprietor, they want to see some type of license that says that you're in business. And then, of course, you've got to be able to identify yourself. Now, your bank is the bank that you do business with is certainly the first choice, but there are a number of different organizations out there. SmartBiz is a company I've been exposed to that will provide those loans to you, because it's all backed by SBA. So what you need is just an SBA lender and have proof that you're in business, and fill out the forms. And if you do, then they'll determine your eligibility based on your payroll, and that they'll deposit that money directly to your bank account. And of course, you've got to use it on the eligible expenses, and that's payroll, utilities, and rent, and have a way to be able to show that you put that money on those particular things. And then they'll forgive the loan as a result. Either way, though, there's nothing to pay for 6 months, and the interest rate is 1% on top of that. That's the process.
So now you threw a lot of right. You threw a lot of terms out there that I don't want to go over anyone's head. So if I'm a sole proprietor, the documents that I need are what again?
you need to have, you should have a tax return that shows your Schedule C, which is indicating your business income and expenses from your tax return if you're sole proprietor. And so that's why it's important you pay taxes. Your legitimate pay taxes. And the Schedule C is part of the 1040 perform. It's part of the 1040 income tax return. It's just the part that's separating your business from your personal expenses, your personal finances. And so all it is documenting what you did. Here's what I brought in. And in case of janitorial company, here's my sales. And then here are all my expenses, which could be supplies, insurance, gas, and the like. And then there should be another column on there for what you paid in terms of payroll. That's the number, that payroll number is what they're going to use to divide by 12 and multiply by 2.5. And so you just got to have those documents. And like I said, there are a number of companies out there, and anybody wants to know, I certainly wouldn't mind passing them on. A number of companies out there that are SBA lenders, or they are companies that will match you up with an SBA lender, Small Business Association, SBA stands for. But that's really if you're sole proprietor. If you're a corporation, it's pretty much the same type of information. It's just on a different form.
Okay, and what, you know those forms offhand?
I mean, it's 1120 is the form for a corporation. I believe 1120. I mean, ours is a little different. We use a 990 form, but 1120 is the form you use for a corporation. And again, it's all part of your income tax filing. It's whatever form it is that documents your business activity. That's the form that you're going to be needing from them. In addition, again, though, if you've got W-2 employees, you're going to have to show 941. That's the form that shows your quarterly taxes that you pay, payroll taxes that you document with the IRS. And that's, okay. I mean, that's it. That's it. I mean, that's all you do. And again, if you're not, the lender doesn't know you, he's going to probably ask for additional information, driver's license, picture of it, a color picture of that. They're going to ask for your business license, whatever it is that says this, I am an entity, whether it be your incorporation papers, or if you're a sole proprietor, your DBA form that you get when you file down at the downtown Fort Worth at the county's office. But those are things that you're going to need to do.
Okay.
Provide rather.
Okay. And speaking of IRS and all these form documentation, I just got a note that came through is that we actually have a CPA that's there, has more questions about those forms. If you could see the notes or the chat, we have a CPA in there that's offering their assistance.
Okay.
Okay.
I have a little bit to add to that.
Okay, sure thing.
I'm a new business, so we actually opened in November. So I actually got approved for the PPP earlier this week. And from my experience, I had already been banking with the bank I use since 2017. But when it came time to apply, when they first started this program and I applied through the bank, what I found is that they made it extremely hard, because if you're a new business, they do have different guidelines for you. Like if you, as long as you're operating before February 15th, I think it was, you can still qualify for this program. And what they ask you for should look different than what they ask a company that's been around for years, a few years, even over a year. It should look different. But what I found was that they asked me for the same exact documents that they ask every other business for. And I called them out. I told them, this is what SBA is asking for. This is what I'm supposed to give you. And in the end, basically, I missed that first round because they kept giving me the runaround. Well, what I ended up doing, I do my payroll through Square. And I just so happened to see a little a little blurb on there saying that they were going to open up taking applications. Well, when they opened it up, they sent me an email and said, you can apply through us if you would like to, and I did it. Well, because they have all of my information, I didn't need to give them anything. Like with the bank, they have my ID, they have my social, they have all of my business certificates, but they asked me to send all of that stuff again, as if they didn't have it. With Square, I sent them that same information when I first opened up my Square account. They asked me for nothing. They had all of my payroll, so they already had the calculation done for me. So I just had to answer a couple of questions, and then they sent it on to SBA, and then I got an email saying that it was approved, actually last week. But I think that's one thing that people need to know is that as long as your business was open before February, I believe it's the 15th, it may be the 20th, but if you were open before that time, so if you had just opened in January, you still qualify and you still should have some payroll documents for that month. And they'll accept those documents and you'll still be able to qualify. And it's about looking, like you said, through other companies, because this has caused me to rethink my banking.
Right.
I got you.
I'm actually going to leave my bank and go to another bank because they gave me such a hard time.
I got you.
Yeah,
Right.
Sorry. Yeah.
No.
Yeah. So
got you.
I'm leaving that bank and I'm going to another bank because they were acting like he said, it's backed by SBA, so they're guaranteed to get their money. They're not going to hurt, but we're the ones hurting. So now I have to show and prove, like, hey, I'm your business. I told them, I'm like, I'm a customer. So if you can't help me, then I'll go to somebody else that can.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, now I'm leaving that bank and going to another bank, but I got approved through Square. PayPal also accepts applications for it as well. And then there are a lot of different loans now through Fort Worth that you can get, and they just opened up a grant. I think the application is May 13th. So it's just about really connecting with other people in business and asking them, like, hey, what are you doing? Do you know of anything? And then all of us sending out the information to people that we know that are in business, so everyone is on the same page and everybody can get what they need, because it's out there for everybody.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I know, and that's a great point. I didn't even think about online banking with these services like PayPal and Square. So thank you for bringing that up, man.
Oh yeah, PayCycle does it as well. Intuit, not PayCycle, Intuit as well to QuickBooks.
Yeah.
All those are in this game because it's SBA. See, that's the thing. They know it's SBA back.
Right,
so
right.
Come on, I got your information. Come on down.
Yeah, no, thank you for that. So y'all, we're coming toward the end. I got one more question, and then we'll kind of go into final words. But there's a lot of lessons to be learned going through any kind of traumatic experiences or whatnot. And so as we're moving out of COVID-19, hopefully soon. What are the lessons that you take from this experience on the other side of post-pandemic marketplace that you can share with everyone?
You want me to go first? Yeah. Okay.
Sure.
Well, I mean, one of the things is, and I mean, you got to be agile, number one. I mean, things can happen at a moment's notice, and if you want to stay in business, you got to be agile. You got to be able to adapt to what's going on. In fact, that's just got to be your nature going forward. Is that be prepared? That something's going to change, and you got to be ready for it. The other thing is that like in any business, I mean, maybe it's a little tougher when you just got started, but you got to have some reserves for these kind of things to take place. That while we waiting on approval for a loan or whatever the case may be, you got to have something that you can lean on as we go through tough times like we have. So that to me is one of the things that I look at is that I can't I've got to have something in the savings or whatever the case may be for something like this to take place. Again, just looking at Mia's situation, it's Mia, right? I'm saying it right?
Yes.
Is that she's staying in contact with the community, because again, that's where the business is, and that's where her customers are, and you got to stay in contact with the community, in all ways, in all phases of it, whether it's to get employees or to keep business going, or whatever the case may be. We're not out here on the island. We're a community, and certainly, you know, if we're serving the community the way we're supposed to, then they'll be there in these tough times. I love this virtual tip jar. I just love it, you know, and glad it's been able to keep you sustained. Because I mean, that's one of the things I try to do, Mia, when I do go to different places. I over tip because I know it's tough right now.
That's good. Yeah, I mean, seriously, that's the standard actually across the United States right now, and even in other countries, the virtual tip jar, like, because, you know, the coffee community is a thing, and so that's, you know, something that I've noticed is that everyone is doing that virtual tip jar. I think what I have learned and will take with me is basically being confident in my decisions. You know, because it's hard to say, okay, to customers, like, you can't come in, you know, even when they're saying you can have like 5 people in here at a time. You know, I have to think about employees. I have to think about myself because I have kids. I have my husband that I have to think about. So I have to be confident that customers will understand, you know, the situation, and they'll be okay with it as long as I take care of them.
Yeah.
And also, I will say I'm just proud of myself. I think you have to look at the good things that you've done or been able to accomplish during this time. I'm proud that I was even able to continue to stay open on the weekends. Proud of how I'm still trying to figure out ways. Like you said, you have to be ready for everything to change because it's ever changing, everything. So, like, just me trying to figure it out, it has not been easy, but I'm proud that I'm figuring it out. I'm finding a way to keep doing this. So I think it's just like, you know, celebrating the small victories and just,
Amen.
you know, trying to keep going as much as you can. Do what you can do.
Oh, Mia, can I ask you a
Most
question?
definitely.
Yes.
What are some of the small victories you've had in the time you've been at this during this epidemic? All right.
So I think, so one thing I'll say is I had a bakery that was a vendor, and once this happened, they immediately shut down their deliveries. So I was out of food, and people, when they go to coffee shops, they want something to nibble on, they want something. And so I was able to maintain at least one of my vendors and then figure out a way to offer something. And to me, that's a victory because it ups my sales. If I can get you to buy a coffee and a cinnamon roll, that helps me out a lot more. And then just being able to keep my staff. Like, I have 3 really, really, really good baristas.
Cool.
And being able to keep them, because times are hard. Like, they could have gone anywhere and just stopped working with me. But I'm so glad that I've been able to keep them, and they've stuck with me. So that, to me, that's a huge victory because training or just being without staff would be horrible. But yeah.
I like that.
Most definitely. Well, y'all, just want to end by offering some word of encouragement. Most definitely, congratulations, y'all, for continuing to fight, for still sticking through it, fighting those small battles and winning those victories. So if you guys offer the audience a word of encouragement, and we can close out.
Well, I love the testimony that Mia gave right there, you know, and I guess my thing is, though, is that the products and services that the 2 of us offer are needed. People want them. Somebody's going to do them. Why not us? Right, Mia? Why not? Huh?
Right.
And so so the thing is, though, it's taking some creativity to stay afloat. But you know, I think those are the things that I can say this, that God has given us, is the ability to be creative. And so this has given us a chance to exercise that. And if we stay connected like we're supposed to, He's going to give us the ideas and things that we need to survive this. But the idea is just don't quit.
Right.
I mean, you may have to scale back to Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. But Friday, Saturday, Sunday is better than no days. You know what I mean? And then we just build on that as as things around us change, but the idea is just don't quit. This is not business is not a game for people who are thin-skinned, easily discouraged. And this is a bigger challenge than we would normally have, but being in business every day has its challenges. There's no doubt about it. It's not a job, it's a business. And there's nobody teaching you or telling you what to do next. There's some counseling, but for the most part, it's on us as the owners to keep the business going. And those 3 people or as 30 people depend on us to not quit. It's what I'm not just talking about the employees, the customers. It's another story altogether.
Yeah.
I'm sure they're comfortable with having me as coffee shop where it is right now. Just like they're comfortable having LPM clean their buildings.
Right. Yeah, I agree with everything he said. You just have to keep going. If one day at a time. Like you can't give up. I remember when all this started, I told myself, and I even said on social media, that I'm no stranger to hard times. So when all this hit, it was one of those things where I was like, okay, I'm used to having some things happen, so I got to just keep going. And even found myself forgetting that in the middle of it, and had to remind myself, hey, you once said you're no stranger to hard times. So like I had to just pick myself up, but that's what you got to do. You got to keep going, pick yourself up, encourage yourself, and keep moving.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us. Derek, you want to close this out?
Yeah, thanks everybody for joining. A couple of announcements before we go. I'm losing you, RJ. So, yeah, go ahead, Mia.
Thank you. I have a few announcements. All teachers, this is Teacher Appreciation Week.
Okay.
So
Sorry.
I partner with Reed Fort Worth and some other small businesses. Thursday and Friday, drinks are free for Fort Worth ISD teachers. So please come by between 8 and 3. You can look us up on blackcoffeefw.com. We have the menu. We have a phone number. You can give us a call and order ahead and pick up. And then on Sunday, the wonderful community Frontline is paying for drinks on Mother's Day. So also, again, there's another opportunity to get a free drink. Come try us out if you haven't. It's the perfect time to. Yeah. So thank you for letting me say that.
All right. Sounds good.
Awesome. Yeah, so that was one of the announcements I was going to make. Free drinks on Sunday. Happy Mother's Day. And then the second thing is I posted in the link in the comments to the video a jot form, a link that if you are in need or anyone you know is in need, just fill out that link. If you need groceries, if you need your yard mowed, if your neighbor does, if your friends do, please fill out the link, submit it, and someone will be in contact with you to provide those groceries, drop them off at your doorstep, visit with you, mow your yard, whatever. We want to help, and there's friends of Community Frontline. It's not just Community Frontline are contributing to this effort, so there's resources to be accessed there. So I know there are needs, so share those and post. Fill out the link that's in the post, and it's also elsewhere on our social media stuff. You can find access to that link. If you want to volunteer or donate to that link, you can as well. But really, the bigger thing right now is to give, to sign up and just receive it if you need it. Next week's weekly update is going to be, we're going to have Commissioners Brooks and Allen on to discuss some things with us in our Zoom meeting. It'll be the same time, 7 o'clock next Wednesday with them. And then the last announcement is that on Friday, typically we have lunch at Smokey's Barbecue in person every Friday at noon, but we can't do that right now. So what we're doing is, if you follow us, we've got a chart of lots of East Side restaurants. So we invite you to every Friday at noon, patron one of those restaurants, and then get your takeout, and then click and join us on a Zoom lunch meeting. It's just as weird as it sounds, but we still encourage you to do it. It's fun. At least support the restaurant, even if you don't want to join us on Zoom. So, but that's it for us. You got anything else, RJ?
Hey, happy Mother's Day to the mothers.
Yes, ma'am. Happy Mother's Day. Yes, in advance. All right.
All right, but hey, thank you for everybody that joined in. All right.